Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here with a layout for the Traci Reed Designs creative team. I am working with the Anywhere But Here digital collection. This is a hybrid Project Life travel themed layout from March of last year, March of 2024. We visited Raleigh for a quick weekend getaway trip. This is the layout as I have planned it in Photoshop. I'm using the CC version. I work on a PC. And then I take these elements and print them out. I send the embellishments to my silhouette and have the silhouette cut those. And so this is an overview of our trip to Raleigh that weekend, some of my favorite photos, and just a few highlights. Basic routine that I've been going through with this album. As far as the layout itself, I started with a template from Erica Zane. I'll have that product linked down below. And of course, I tweaked it a little bit to make it work for me. One of the things I did this time, because I felt like I had additional photos more than most of the layouts that I've been doing. So I made sure to accommodate more blocks for the photos and journal cards and filler cards, more than I had been in the previous layouts. And in order to incorporate the beautiful floral in this collection, I used the block in the upper left-hand corner and in the lower right-hand corner as the pattern paper block. Staying with my love of floral patterns and incorporating those into these layouts in a more bold kind of statement way. So let's go ahead and jump into the process and let me show you how this is going to pull together. All right, so here's the layout and all the elements printed out for you. So let me share with you a couple of things that have been printed out at this point. The title card is using the alphabet set from the Anywhere But Here collection to spell out Raleigh and C, and then I left some space underneath for the date. This is one of the journal cards from that collection, just cropped down a little bit closer to fit into that block. One of the things that I feel like is making these layouts so successful is the white border around the photos. I've been doing this in my Project Life layouts for a long time, just adding a little bit of white so that they pop up off of the background or in regular pocket pages, just so that they stand on their own as photos on the page. The background pattern paper is a sort of mint tone-on-tone pattern paper, which I feel like doesn't compete with the layout. This journal card, you'll notice, is turned sideways. I don't have any plans to use the cacti on that card because they're not really relevant to Raleigh, North Carolina. But I did want the border and the grid from that journal card. So I'm turning it sideways, and then you can guess how I'll handle that. I'll layer some embellishments to hide those cactus or cacti. So I mentioned the floral blocks here, this one at the top left and the second one at the lower bottom right. One of the elements that I've repeated across the page are those adorable little, one of the embellishments that I've repeated across both pages on this layout are the little stamp embellishments in this collection, which I think are adorable. And so I'm setting that theme here alongside the title with the Go See Do stamp. The alphabets that I'm using here are from Echo Park. I'm sorry, not Echo Park, Ellie's Studio. Just a chance to use up some of my puffy alphabets here, repeating the blue from the floral, and that is a standout title. When you look back and look at the layout completed, that really does stand out. Excellent choice for the yellow background for this little title card, and the contrast. The contrast with the blue and the yellow is quite perfect, I think. So I'm going to lay those out here and then add the little arrows underneath. The arrows here are, they're in the original embellishment pack. It's just 4 of the little arrows. And so I just repeated that and added a light stroke to them so that they would all cut as one piece from the silhouette, just to fit across that page and add another little detail. I debated whether or not I wanted to overlap the yellow, but that would have overlapped the stamp as well. And so it's just going to go across the bottom, and you'll see that here in just a moment as soon as I get these as soon as I get these alphabets placed there. And then I'm just going to adhere that in place. I did print the little lines to show me where each of the blocks go. This card here, the Love It Here card, is Traveler's Notebook signature in this collection, and I just sized it a little bit better to fit in that space and to be more of a square. Loved how that turned out here. Ran out of adhesive. That seems to be happening a lot lately. That means I'm creating a lot. And so I mentioned how I'm repeating those stamp embellishments here. The photo here is interestingly enough, cherry blossoms at the North Carolina Museum of Art. I can't recommend the NCMOA highly enough. I used to hang out there a lot in design school. We would go there for art classes and do sketches and study some of the pieces that were there, and that was in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, and the growth that I saw is really awesome. I'm really happy to see the new to me building and the grounds that they've expanded upon the pieces. They were exhibiting a piece from Picasso, and so that was awesome to see. The journal card with the We Are Here word art is a journal card taken from the collection, and just added my journaling to that and called that a day. Another element that is repeated on both sides of the page are the striped pattern paper, and then the Wanderlust tag on top of it. I've just left that as it is, very simple. And then the Let's Escape and Breathe is also a journal card in the collection. And then the black and white diagonal is also repeated on the other page. So you can see I'm using these smaller blocks as little fillers and repeating those elements across the page. What I've done in the past also is to use a contrasting pattern paper on all of the little filler spots. That creates a great sense of repetition and consistency in your layout as well. See, particularly, I think it was January of 2024, where I used a wood grain to fill those little filler spots. And that works out quite nice. It gives you an opportunity to add some simple embellishments or to dress it up however you like. Add other title pieces, use some puffy stickers, use your imagination to fill those little spots. So don't be intimidated by the smaller spots. I know it's different than what we're used to in the traditional Project Life layout with 4x6 and 3x4s. But I've actually found it really fun and enjoyable working with these different size spaces and being able to give the photos more prominence and more variation on the layout. It's pretty visually interesting, I think, and I'm liking just being able to slide it into one pocket all together, done. Beautiful pages to flip through. I will be doing a flip through pretty soon. Once I get through June, I think I might be already through June. So look for that coming really soon. I'll do a flip through of the first 6 months so you can see how this album is coming together. It's one of my favorites, I do believe. And after going through a couple of years of not focusing on Project Life, not doing hardly any Project Life, just taking photos whenever I felt like it. It's kind of brought me back to it with a renewed interest and a renewed excitement for it. And I can highly recommend that. If you feel like you're just not inspired by something right now, put it to the side, and maybe one day you will come back to it. Maybe not, but in this instance, I definitely came back to it. So working on the left side here, and here's where you can see the repeated little filler blocks with the stamp embellishments and the other embellishments. There's another journal card there, and that one is zoomed in a little bit to fit that space, so some of it is cut off actually, but when you do it intentionally, when you do it thoughtfully, it works out really beautifully, and I think it looks great there. I like having the two journal cards being really simple on this layout. And of course, there's the third journal card here that's going on the floral. And so I talked about this already a little bit, this little sideways journal card. The yellow frame, of course, helps it to pop up off of that blue floral. As beautiful as it is, we need that space. I needed that space for just more journaling, a little bit of a summary to round out this page. Again, keeping my commitment to add more words to the page for 2024 and 2025 both. And I'm loving that. I support and encourage you to do handwritten journaling. I have about 10 years of Project Life layouts that have mostly handwritten journaling in them. And I decided for these 2 years especially right now, I wanted to use my computer more and do more type journaling, simply for the fact that it allows more space for more words. And I'm using that really to reflect, to thoughtfully reflect on what these photos mean, what I see in these photos now. I've talked for a long time about how I love to focus on relationships and who our family is as individuals, but also as a family of 6 people, go in different directions, different personalities. But I think we are a pretty close-knit family unit, and I just see the joy that togetherness brings. And definitely, we had a fun trip. I will say one of the best parts about this trip was letting the kids pick where they wanted to go and where they wanted to eat and what kind of things they wanted to do. And that was the best decision I think we ever made on a trip ever. They found some of the funnest places and they were excited to go, and it was overall a very fun time. So glad to have this documented. Thank you for following along with my process today. I'll have all the links to products down below, and as always, I'll see you back here again real soon. Bye-bye.